Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're either catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44, or my Facebook page, True Divine 44. Like, share, subscribes and comments are greatly appreciated on either or both of those platforms, and much love to everybody who supports me thus far. I'm putting out as much free content as I can, mainly via tarot to help support, guide and inspire, but also show what I can do. So if I touch on something that you want to delve into further, or you have a completely separate situation, personal situation, or you just want some insight into your own specific life, you can always book me. That supports me also for a private reading, which is much more in-depth, much longer, and we can do that through FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, whatever modem you use. I'll try and accommodate on this end. I also do energy work, so if you're feeling a bit anxious or a bit fearful right now, it's a perfect time to work on your energy and how you deliver that through your body with intent. It also highlights any emotional blocks, or spiritual blocks that you might be holding, that are holding you back in life also. So we can do that again via FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, whatever modem you use. Again, I'll try and accommodate that. So I'm putting out this free content to help support, guide and inspire, but it is general. Because it's general, some of it might resonate with you and some of it might not. All of it might resonate with you and all of it might not. Take what helps you, take what guides you, and leave the rest behind. So this is a collective energy for the 17th of April 2020. The first card being the Five of Pentacles. So the situation that a lot of us are in, it has created a feeling of lack. It's created a feeling of worry. This is material, this is financial, this is physical, the things that sustain you, that hold you, that nourish you, from food to finance. This covers it. And there is this feeling of lack, hardship and troubled times, but also more importantly feeling alone. And it's at this time right now where a lot of people are reaching out and finding new connections. You might be in the category where your financial circumstance or the worries about your material sustainability have got you to the point where you've closed yourself off, taken yourself back from the people who could support you during this time, even if it's via a phone call or just on the various social media platforms. You might have held yourself back a bit and withdrawn a bit, and right now it's asking you to dig deep and reach out to those connections that can offer you that support, that camaraderie. Because it will make a difference. It does make a huge difference to have that camaraderie. So with that being said, there's this persuasion with this card to take this within and to find out where you, because everything reflects in on everything. So whatever we are experiencing, even as a collective or as individuals, whatever we're experiencing and what we've been experiencing right now, we have been lacking in some sense of the word. So it's for you to search within and see where spiritually you may have been lacking, emotionally where you may have been lacking, because that ultimately does reflect out on the outside world. Now, this could be arguable by some, but we've had brilliant times, brilliant discoveries, brilliant dialogue between people, awesome people coming into the forefront of people's consciousness with their thoughts, with their knowledge, with their energy. But at the same time, for a long time, we as a whole have been very disconnected from the spiritual, from all aspects of self, and being very immersed in this, surface layer of self. And we find ourselves now being left with just that, in that we can't go out quite as easily and make those connections physically. We can't quite as easily jump on a plane and go and see somebody that we love. We can't quite as easily express ourselves in all the aspects of us, whether that be a sport that you used to do and you just forgot about doing and stopped doing and didn't, have that team camaraderie anymore, and didn't stay in touch with people from that team. I don't know why that cropped up. That might resonate for somebody. But there's this disconnection And so we've been left with this situation, regardless of who started the situation or what. There was an opening for this situation to become a situation. So, and we've all played a part in that. And one major part of that we've all played in is not being quite as connected to self as we should always protect with everything we've got. We should cover that. We should honor that, because that is what gives us our individualism. That's what gives us our freedoms. That's what gives us our control. And we don't put the control in the source of others, in others' hands. So this is a real invitation right now to use what you've got. What most of us have got right now is time. And so instead of sitting thinking about the disconnection, thinking about how alone you feel, thinking about the lack, always lack, so that you're putting the energy out there to boomerang back to you of lack, of loneliness, of being alone. Use this time constructively for whatever you can. And one of the main things you can use it for is to dig deep and look at your life in a way that you can be completely honest with yourself and see what kind of decisions, how have you been driven to certain decisions? How have you been driven to giving up your divinity? How have you been driven to giving up your individualism? And it's a way of, yes, it can be painful at first, but it's very cathartic, and it's a way of getting that fire back. It's a way of seeing where you have maybe strayed off the path of being powerful, being empowered by self. And you can transmute that then if you know what you're dealing with, if you know what you're facing. If you just sit in the energy of this card without taking the invitation of this card on the surface, then all you're going to feel is the lack, the loneliness, the financial strain. Without ever digging deep, you can't get past that situation. So use this time constructively to go within and see where there are blocks, where there was time of complacency, where there was time of giving up that divinity and that individualism. It also speaks of this situation has highlighted for many, many people, and the energy that this situation has manifested. You know, it's highlighted for very many people that they are in the wrong circumstance. They're in the wrong type of home. It doesn't fit them anymore. They're in the wrong type of environment with the wrong people. And not wrong in general, but just wrong for you. And so it's to look at that also and recognize that and be very honest with yourself about that, rather than clinging on to something that quite obviously leaves you feeling alone, or clinging on to someone that quite obviously leaves you feeling alone. So the second card being the Major Arcana, the Strength card. Now, there couldn't be a more beautiful card to follow the description that I've just given about the Five of Pentacles there, because this speaks of fortitude. It speaks of that inner strength. It speaks of that spiritual fortitude, that spiritual strength, that the ferocity of the lion. So that's your fire getting poked again, and not just taking whatever is handed to you, because you have that balance. You have that balance between this ferocity of the lion and the masculine, in the divine masculine energy, and the divine feminine energy of this lady here who was able to tame this lion with just the touch of her hand. And so there's that balance there to being able to have complete success by subduing the things that aren't serving you, by subduing the things, the reactionary aspect of self, and being able to dig deep, be intuitive, and then take action like the lion would. But it also speaks to you protecting yourself. And I think for many right now, it's a time of realizing that you are divine and you are an individual and you're here on your journey. And the kind of control that is being put out there on the collective has highlighted the fact, if anything, is that there are others that think they control every aspect of you, every aspect of us. And so it takes a little bit of this intuitive divine feminine to process that and make sense of that without being too reactionary at first, which we've on the most part been doing. And now this is the time for the stirring of the lion, that ferocity, to start to take action, to start to ask questions, to start to question how we go forward from here, so that you're taking back control of your own circumstances. Now that's speaking to the individual towards the collective thing that's going on right now. But as an individual, also put that into your own life, and where you might be feeling like you're not living in the right place, you're not living in the right home or with the right people or in the right business. You use that strength also for that too, in that you take that time to intuit what is not feeding you, what is not nourishing you, and then you have this ferociousness, this action, measured ferociousness, not reactionary, measured ferociousness to get you through that, to take you forward, to take you away from this lack feeling of the Five of Pentacles. So the last card being the Six of Cups, but it's in reverse. And so this speaks to a little bit of naivety, to be honest. And for a lot of people who this resonates with today, it might be that, you know, certain truths or certain contradictions that have been going on the wider stage have made you realize how naive you've been towards the world that you live in and how things really work, and you're still trying to make sense of that. And feeling naive, you know, isn't necessarily a very nice feeling. So there's this unrealistic emotional energy here, in that the feeling that, you know, you could go back to just allowing people or anything outside of self to govern you completely and to control every aspect of your life is not good enough. And to think that that was a safe option, again, is not good enough. And so there's this energy with that you're unable to marry it up. You're unable to process that. You're unable to face facts. And so with that, again, it's that story of you have to go within and see why are you so afraid to face facts, either in your individual life or, you know, towards the collective, towards what's going on the wider stage. Why are you so afraid to dig deeper? What are you afraid of finding out? What are you afraid? Are you afraid of finding out that you have the power to control you? You have the power to be divine and empowered in yourself and feed yourself and be yourself? Is that what people are afraid of? Is that what you're afraid of? It also speaks to the fact of that, again, it's the relationship thing, and where there's been a lot of energy in the collective of people really coming together from all different walks of life. This has been a very pressured time also for anybody who in this Five of Pentacles feels they're in the wrong place with the wrong people in the wrong position, because it's intensified, of course, isn't it? Especially if you've been in complete lockdown or part lockdown, isolation, self-isolation. It's a pressure cooker, isn't it? So if you're not with people that you can diffuse that with through talking, through being able to have dialogue that doesn't then become triggered or doesn't then be just passed off as nothing, if you're not able to have that, then it does bring strain to those relationships. And again, try not to be sad if this is the case for you, because take it as a blessing that at least this situation has highlighted to you that there's more out there for you, that there's more job prospects out there for you, that there's more different ways of doing business, there's more relationships, more friendships out there for you that feed you, that nourish you, and that lift you up and energize you. So lots of people are going through it. You're not alone. And it is a realignment of everything right now. And it's to Try and highlight what blessings you can take out of this situation to move forward whole, to move forward as an individual who feels they are on their path, not feels that they are just conforming to a path just for the sake of a quiet life or just for the sake of being the same, because that's all you've known. It's a time to take this strength card right to the heart and be that lion and be this intuitive divine feminine energy also, to balance the two out, but always make sure that in that balancing of the two out, you take what messages that you get for yourself intuitively and you move forward with them. Don't stay stuck in the past with this Six of Cups. Don't stay stuck in nostalgia that is unrealistic. So it's a little bit of a tough day for a lot of people, but there's lots of blessings, like I hope I've highlighted, to take away from it and to change things up and to use it almost as a therapy process to make sure that when this situation is all said and done, you're going forward in a way that is focused, full of intent, full of power, and is something that you want, something that you get excited about, something that thrills you, excites you, something that brings you joy and bliss. So on the bottom of the deck, I've got to mention that the Queen of Pentacles, again, these queens, this divine feminine energy that I've been talking about, birthing itself into the greater consciousness and into the individuals, she's here to say, you are protected, you are loved. This queen can be very business-like how she goes about her approach of making sure things are whole, making sure things are sustained, nurtured and cared for. But she makes things happen. She doesn't sit back and not sow her seeds. She does. She acts on them. Now, yes, she ponders them more than the other queens. She thinks them through. But that's what this whole reading is about, isn't it? Going within and not being afraid to think through whatever crops up. And that is getting rid of the blocks. That is what energy work is. Going within, finding out where you get stuck, why you get stuck. Write yourself down some questions and start questioning yourself. And you'll soon see that you'll feel that block relieve. You'll feel the anxiety and the fear that that block caused lift. So I hope that helped. That's for the 17th of April 2020. Again, if you'd like a private reading, hit me up with any of the details above or below this video, or you can message me on Facebook Messenger. And until next time, much love, be balanced always and be whole. Mwah. Love you.